Hi everyone, this is just a quick video to kind of orient you to how to do this to make sure that you feel comfortable. So what we're looking at is the sample of the research paper template, and at this point you're not writing the paper, you're simply formatting your template. So as we look at this, let's just examine it for a moment before we go through the steps. You'll notice that each of the pages is numbered and that those numbers are in the upper right hand corner. That is proper APA or American Psychological Association format. You'll notice that on the very first page, which we'll call the cover page, that all of the key information is centered on that page. So it's centered in the page and it's equally distant from the top and the bottom. There are 5 lines there, the first of which is the title. Now you want to format your title as a question since you are looking at a controversial topic. So essentially, is X right or wrong? Is X a good idea or not? It will then have your name. It will then state the name of your institution, in this case Florida Keys Community College. You always then list the name of your course and then you list your instructor's name. So at the very top of each of the pages, you'll see up there in the header area that on the very first page there's something unique. There are the words running head. And again, this is APA format. So the cover page, the first page, should literally have the words running head, whereas the subsequent pages should not have those words. You will also notice that after the words running head, you have the full title or a lengthy version of the title. And then on the subsequent pages, you have an abbreviated version, and again, the words running head are not there. If you need help with what to put there, please ask. As you look at the next page, you see that as with any writing, we begin with an introduction, and that is where you are going to explain to the reader, the person reading your paper, and that could be anyone. Don't just think of it as the person teaching your course. Imagine that anyone in the world might be reading your paper. So you want to orient or introduce the reader to the topic. Perhaps you've chosen a topic with which the reader is not familiar, and you want to make sure they know something about the topic in general so it's not a foreign concept to them. So imagine somebody knows nothing about your topic, regardless of what it is, and give them a little background on the topic. Let them know that this topic is about this issue and this is what it means and this is why it's controversial. People have different viewpoints on it. Some people are in favor of it because list your 3 pros, and some people are opposed to it because list your 3 cons. You want to list these in a specific order because then as the person reads your paper, they will be able to follow what you presented to them in the introduction. So your viewpoints should then be listed. You will begin with a header for each of your 3 pro points and then a header for each of your 3 cons. Again, they should be in the same order as you listed them in the introduction section. So you can see here, viewpoint 1, your first pro, the same pro viewpoint but your second point, and that same pro viewpoint but that third point you chose to emphasize. Then you do the same with your 3 pros. Remember, that's the body of your paper where you're presenting your 3 and 3. That's where you're going to explain what each of those is about and why it matters or why that viewpoint has any validity. And then, as with any paper you would write, you will do a conclusion. And a conclusion is, in essence, a restatement of your introduction. You're saying, so this is what my paper was about, this is what I told you was important, and these points have been provided to support it. You're letting the reader know in conclusion that you did what you set out to do. Now, as we will cover in class extensively, when you are writing academically, meaning at the college level, we do not want subjective statements. We want objective statements. So nothing in this paper will be unsupported opinion. everything will stem from what you read in those scholarly sources that you obtained from the Opposing Viewpoints database. So as you are writing, you will be sharing what you learned, and you will be backing it up with in-text citations. In other words, at the end of the statements you make, which are things that you learn stated in your own words, you will cite where you learned that. And so that way, if the reader is reading your comments and they see that you've referenced a certain author, they can then go to the very last page of your paper called the references page, and they can find that author's name, and they can go, you know, I want to read that source. I want to read it in detail. What source was it? And they will find all of the source information there so that they could literally go into the library and put in that source information and pull up the very source that you used and read it themselves. So this is so that people reading scholarly publications know where the reader can go to read the things that the author used to inform him or herself in order to write the paper. So you're going to have a references page which will be properly formatted in the APA, again, the American Psychological Association format. The word references will be centered. Everything as it is throughout the entire paper will be double spaced. You will notice that the authors are in alphabetical order, and you will notice that the first line is flush far left, but all subsequent lines of a single citation are indented, so you can literally use the tab key. You are probably just going to be copying and pasting these APA formatted references. You don't want to have to figure out how to put the comma and the period and the parentheses and the italics and all of that. So as I showed you in the previous video clip that was about 3 minutes long, you can actually in the library system click on APA format for a citation tool function and copy that and paste it, and then all you have to do is move them around in alphabetical order and make sure that they're lined up correctly. So as usual, if you're struggling with that at all, you need to seek help. You can go to the library for help, you can go to the Writing Center for help, or you can seek help from a classmate or from me. All right, hopefully that helps you out.